Are you trying to figure out a way to stand out from the crowd and differentiate your business? If so, then you probably know that branding is key. However, branding is so much more than your logo, your brand name, or the color palette that you choose. Branding is really getting deep into who you are as a business and how you embody your business in the world. And it can be an incredibly powerful tool to be able to take your business to the next level, to win over loyal fans, and to really make something of value that can stand the test of time. So if you'd like to know how to do this more effectively, let's go ahead and get into things. Hello, my name is Emma Shermer-Tamir. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Marketing by Emma. And today we're really going to be digging into brand identity. Brand identity might be one of those terms that you hear thrown around, and it sounds interesting. It sounds fancy schmancy, but what does it actually mean? Brand identity is essentially personifying your brand. So perhaps you've heard of the term customer avatar. This is building out a very clear profile of who your customer is. Your brand identity is doing that exact same thing for your business. So if your business was a living, breathing human going about their life in the world, who would they be? What kind of clothes would they wear? What kind of food would they eat? What influencers would they follow? What would be their favorite TV shows, their sense of humor? And before you start going, but Emma, this is absolutely silly and ridiculous because my brand isn't a real person. Let me explain why this is so important. But before I do that, if you're liking this content, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe, comment. It would really help me out in continuing to provide content that is going to help businesses figure out branding, copywriting, and what they can do to be effective moving into this new frontier of business. So why is it so important to figure out your brand identity? We live in a world where it is very rare to not have competitors, no matter how exciting your innovation may be. And so because of that, and especially even more so if you are selling anything where you do have established competitors, your brand identity is going to be one of the key reasons why people are going to choose your brand over another brand. Essentially, as consumers, we are looking for ways that we can make choices between a variety of options. And that brand identity is one of the key ways that we do that. Yes, of course, there are things like price, there's reviews, there's functionality, but assuming that all of those things are good, assuming that you've priced yourself appropriately, that you have strong reviews, that you've checked all of those boxes, it's very likely that your brand identity is going to be the thing that a customer decides that they're excited about or align with over another brand. If you want to see some examples of this, I will link a video in the eye talking about how you can really differentiate your business with this branding. But in that video, we didn't really get into how you do this. Now, you might hear me talking about brand identity and make the false assumption that this is only something that you could do if you are launching a new business. This is really an invaluable piece of strategy that businesses of all sizes and all ages should be regularly considering. And the great thing about a brand identity is that when you're very clear on it, it actually helps make many other choices much easier. So if you've decided that your brand is a hipster millennial dude who lives in Portland, Oregon, and works for a startup, but also is a hobbyist who likes to make his own beer and go hiking in the woods, you're starting to get a very clear idea of who this person is. You can probably start to imagine the kind of clothes they wear, their personal style, their sense of humor. So it's filling in a lot of gaps that can be difficult to articulate with just funny, sarcastic, doesn't take himself too seriously. That could be a lot of different types of people, but this descriptor that I've given you gives you so much more. And so if you're trying to develop a new logo, if you're trying to figure out how you should be showing up on social media, if you're trying to determine what kind of language you can use to better connect with your customers to sell your products, doing this exercise is going to help you have a clearer sense of direction for all of those different things. So not only does it make decisions easier, but it can really help align teams. So if you have a design team, you have a contract writer, you have customer service, all of these people, when they have a clear idea of this profile of your brand identity, they understand what they need to do in order to make choices that are in line with that. So you don't want to just stay superficial. I realize that's where I started. So I was talking about a lot of those kind of external characteristics that give shape so I can really visualize who your brand is. But it's very important to not stop there and to also go deeper in figuring out who your brand is deep down. What does your brand care about? Why does your brand exist? What are those values that they are unwavering on, that they are unwilling to compromise on? Getting clear on why you exist and what you're doing, what you do is incredibly important and will help give that extra level of authenticity, believability, and depth to all of the choices that you are making. And so by doing this, by pairing together a very clear sense of who your brand is externally and who your brand is inside, then you can go about all of these other detailed choices, be it putting together a product page, be it choosing some new colors for your next campaign, or what have you. But with this, you now have a really great tool that you can take, that you can give to people. We've been talking a little bit in hypotheticals, so let's actually look at a real life example. And before we get into it, I would just like to say that this is not perfect, but it is a really great way of being able to see these principles in action. So let's look at two coffees side by side. We have Melita Buzzworthy High Caffeine Coffee next to Black Rifle High Caffeine Coffee Company. So on the surface, these are the same product. They are selling a relative commodity, which is high caffeine coffee. The coffee itself, there's very little that they can do to differentiate on a product level. Yes, it can be sourced from different places, have different labor practices, or be roasted from a different process. However, at its core, it is high caffeine coffee. And so branding is really going to be the key driver that both of these businesses have at their disposal in order to win customers over. So Melita, they've been around a very long time, since I think early 1900s. And Black Rifle Coffee Company is much newer to the scene. They are an e-commerce first coffee company that has achieved incredible success, in large part to a clear sense of who they are. So let's look at both of their A+ content that I found on Amazon. So if we look at Melita first, we see on the surface, it looks okay. Is it the most well-designed page? Not really. But that's not really the issue. The issue is not design here. The issue is the fact that there is really nothing here that communicates why a customer should choose this particular coffee. It is very generic. You could easily exchange Melita with Folgers or Maxwell House or any other large grocery store coffee company, and you really wouldn't be able to tell a difference. It's very generic. There is nothing clear here that gives me as a customer an understanding of why Melita should be my choice. Now, what I find interesting is that Melita actually invented the coffee filter, and they've really been pioneers in the coffee space. And so they could very well lean into the craft of the coffee and some of those nostalgic roots and deep history that I think could actually be quite compelling. However, they've chosen to take a very surface level approach, and as such, it falls flat. On the other hand, Black Rifle Coffee Company clearly has a very strong sense of who they are at their core. In fact, they are so clear about that they are willing to actually push away potential customers if they are not in line with their core values. So Black Rifle Coffee Company is a veteran-owned business. They're proud supporters of the military, of law enforcement, and of organizations that some people find divisive. And they recognize that, yes, we might turn people away, but we're going to find our people and develop really strong ties with those people by actually embracing these values proudly and being really clear about that. And so you see in their A+ content for their high caffeine coffee, you see a picture of their team, you see a message from the founder, you see their mission statement, their culture, their brand, and there's really very little content here about the coffee itself. They recognize that, yes, our coffee has to be exceptional. Yes, it has to be something that people are going to be eager to drink every day, but it is worth it for them to actually really be thoughtful about how they can win over loyal customers, because this isn't a one-time purchase. This is something that people might be purchasing every week, 2 weeks, or a month. And so if they can do a really great job of getting people bought into who they are as a brand, then they're going to have loyal customers that are going to be with them for the long run. And so is this the best designed piece of A+ content on their Amazon product page? No, it's not. But they are doing such a fantastic job of creating that opportunity for connection with their customers that it is not necessarily going against their ultimate goals. They could probably still sell more if they had a better designed page, but they are doing phenomenally in spite of that because they have such a clear sense of brand identity. And my guess is if you asked any one of those people that is on that in that picture, if the team picture, the BRCC family, they would be able to answer who we are as a company, what we care about, what we stand for, and that is huge. So here are some examples in action of the power of brand identity and figuring that out. And if you're wanting a great set of questions, I actually have a free worksheet that I would love to share with you. I will link that down below. That has a lot of fantastic questions that you can either do yourself or with your team, or for a fun exercise, maybe you have different people on your team answering these questions and seeing how closely you're aligned. And if there's a lot of variation there, then this might mean that you need to take some time to get everybody on the same page. But by doing this, you'll have greater clarity, you'll be able to make decisions much easier, and you'll really be able to start to carve out that moat so that you are not only winning over those customers, but keeping them as loyal fans that are eager to come back for more and more and more. So thank you so much for watching. Branding is really something that it's not static. It's not something that you just do, you set it and forget it. This is an exercise that you might even want to consider doing from time to time, maybe on a yearly basis, or if there's a lot of change going on in your particular space, maybe even more frequently than that. So I hope you found this useful. Please let me know what you think by leaving a comment below, or if you have other videos that you would like to see. I am happy to create videos that are going to answer your burning questions. So please like, subscribe, comment, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye.